didn't have anything else that he could go to.
We'll see if he's able to change things up or at least get himself back into the advantage. SUNING will have first pick, and they ban away the Kalista and the Renekton. So they played it last time. They do not want in the hands of JDG, and now they're debating what their last ban is going to be.
Yeah, you know, probably something like the Gwen, or the Gwen, maybe even just a red side ban here. They ban away the Nocturne. Why?
They don't want it for JDG, obviously. They see a lot of value in it, even if we don't.
Look, last game, it was sweet dreams for SUNING. You know, there wasn't a nightmare or anything like that. It was like they had a nightlight on the entire time. You know, even when it got dark, like it was no problem. You know, it was
baseball bat by the bed, like yeah, totally safe.
I was gonna go more in the direction of like mom turns off the light and then tucks you in. That was more what Zoom's Nocturnal ults felt like in that one.
We'll see now as what they are going to prioritize. The Chaco and the Lee Sin have both been left open now, so JDG will get at least one of them should SUNING decide to first pick the Lee Sin away, and now JDG will end up going face-to-face with that Lee Sin. So we're seeing already that priority coming back in, and an insta-lock for the Gwen.
Yeah, for a good reason. Gwen does some pretty absurd things, and this is where I sort of want to go back. Oh yeah, just Gwen Viego, lock it in. Viego, for some reason, just went to the second ban phase last game. Didn't really understand that one, but some normalcy resumes in this one. Is JDG going to delay their bot lane picks? Because that was the big change, right? You know, JDG sometimes will go for their bot lane very early on. More often than not, though, they're locking in their entire top side of the map and saving their later picks for that bottom lane. We did see the Ziggs work out great for Hwanfeng in the last game, and I think that it just fits in so nicely, especially because a lot of these very potent, you know, top side of the map champions are going to be physical damage. You know, if you're not playing Diana or Gwen, it's a little bit harder to find those AP fighters, the Sylas too, I guess, on the top side of the map. So having a Ziggs or any other mage in the bot lane is instantly going to shore up that damage profile.
You mentioned the Sylas, so this could be a good opportunity here for JDG just to pick their whole top half. And yes, it does leave open Loken and Umao a little bit, but it doesn't really fit them to pick an ADC or a support right now. They're not really going to have many matchups that can kill the Ziggs. They could many options if they want to go for it, but no, they're going to go for the LeBlanc instead. So more agency in that top half of the map.
Yeah, you know, this is interesting because I feel like where JDG diverged from a lot of LPL teams and from SUNING in particular is their desire to play more ranged champions in mid lane. You know, Yagao just seems a little bit more comfortable on like the Lucians of the world, you know, the Zoes, the LeBlanc, these things. And, you know, LeBlanc is a champion that can fight very, very strongly, but is a little bit more tied down to like the abilities, right? So you have to be landing those things, whereas, you know, if you chuck a Renekton into mid lane, he can just sort of run up into your face, do a lot of damage, and he's always going to have a high output. LeBlanc can be a little bit more hit or miss, but still very high agency individual champion. I think this gives them a little bit more instant playmaking, you know, than perhaps the Zoe, where it was, okay, bubbles down, we have to wait a very long time. LeBlanc next to a Viego in the jungle, this can really start to fight a little bit quicker.
Picking it up on the final rotation of the picks as well means you are able to ban away some of those counters, or soft or hard, depending on how you look at them, as Lissandra and Twisted Fate all banned away. And again, JDG just trying to give Yagao enough time in this mid lane to, as you say, make those plays, get those instant bursts down with the distortion into the ethereal chains. But with the Varus and Kai'Sa banned away, do you still lean towards this Aphelios? I mean, you can. The Thresh is still there. You can even go to the Jinx if you really wanted to. And again, I don't think that Loken was playing badly on the Aphelios. I just feel like it was just too little too late at the point.
Yeah, no, I definitely think bot lane was not an issue for JDG at all in that first game. Like, even if you look at the first 10 minutes of the game, like there was like 10, 15 CS advantage. They were constantly getting the push in. So I think Thresh Aphelios is a perfectly fine option. It was more so the rest of the map, you know, couldn't really cohesively get up, you know, dive on in there. And I think LeBlanc has a little bit more instant value than that Zoe. The Viego too can get things done. So I do like this a whole lot more from JDG. And you also don't have a Nocturne that's going to be flying millions of miles away from the rest of your team. So the fight is going to be a little bit more condensed, a little bit easier to get up and surround this Aphelios, assuming that is what gets locked in. It's going to be easier to execute on these later fights.
SUNING just flexing their option. Whoa, okay. First Malzahar of the LPL locked in here for Angel.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear Angel has been a Malzahar player in the past. You would know better than me, but I know I've seen
correct. Yeah, it is something that he has brought out, not for a very long time in my recent memory history, but has been something he has been known to bring out. But the Malzahar, honestly, this feels great right now because it does force a lot of pressure onto Loken to say, or even the LeBlanc, you can't just jump in anymore. You have to make sure you're not getting hit by the suppression.
Yeah, I think this is really good. The Aphelios rounds it on the other side, but I was sort of wondering what Angel was going to go for. You know, if it was a melee mid lane, I was thinking maybe like a set or something to, you know, absorb all the burst damage on LeBlanc. Can't really get a lot done into that, but man, the Malzahar is even more frustrating because you have two melee champions on the top side of the map that, I mean, are gonna almost be forced into a QSS by now. Like, it's really hard to get the job done on Gwen, who wants to be dashing around. Viego too, like these champions that rely on mobility, invisibility, untargetability. It's just impossible. And now LeBlanc, she's super powerful because she can double distort in, deal damage, snap back immediately. Well, you can't snap back unless you have a QSS now. So this Malzahar pick, I feel like might, you know, maybe get, you know, ganked in the laning phase. Like, these things can happen, but I feel like with his passive, with that level 6 coming through, Malzahar is kind of a sick pick, and the more I think about it, the more I love it.
It really is just a hard counter into everything that LeBlanc wants to do. Your harass is taken away from the passive. You can't just jump double distort in if you have got yourself the level 6 onto the Malzahar. And there is just a lot of different things that can work out in your favor for SUNING. And not only that, but if you're able to find someone who's just a little bit overextended, that suppression just puts you in such a good place to be able to get all of your teammates into position to take that kill.
It's going to be really interesting. Now, the one thing SUNING have to remember, though, is their composition overall lacks, like, sustained physical damage within a team fight, right? You have double mage setup. Well, we can talk about this more in the game because I think not running 80 carries is very interesting in how it transforms your team fighting and your approach to it in general, but you're lacking something like that Aphelios. The Aphelios factor will always exist over there for JDG. It's going to be a really interesting game from the laning phase to the later team fights, Penguin.
We'll have to see how it all pans out. Jumping onto the rift, the Jaios from the crowd, loud and clear. We can't hear them, but the people at home can, and we're going to see exactly how well this Malzahar pick can do. Does go with the Corrupting Pot as his first option, and then still going with the Spellbook, so opting for the utility, and they've got themselves a ward onto Yugao. They could flash over with the hook. They could go for this.
It's so good. Here we go.
Oh, there it is, and the silence with the W. First blood for SUNING, and Yugao is in a world of hurt.
You know what, Penguin? This is what I was looking forward to. Last game, we waited like 8 minutes before we got a kill. That's not the LPL we know and love. No, we're flashing over walls. SOFM gets first blood. He's not able to go back to base and cash in on it, but he destroys the mental right there. You know, already jumping off to a first blood. You'll love to see it off of that one. And for the price of a couple flashes and an ignite, worth.
I mean, the mental impact it's going to have is just going to be absolutely astronomical. You're to the moon with that particular pickup, and now for the side of JDG, you need to just pick yourself back up, realize that it's just an early kill that doesn't make that big of a difference, and make this game yours again, because if you fall down that hole of self-doubting, that's when things can get a little bit dicey. As we can see on the bot side, both the hook champions going in. There was an ignite used and a heal. They're trying to still get going this, and that's straight up just a kill. No flash on to get away, and now JDG have themselves a fight back.
They subbed out on for off in between games. It seems like I didn't think there were any roster changes, but clearly there were. And we actually saw this almost happen in the last game, right? In the laning phase, I think it was level 2 where On got bursted down and, you know, barely sort of survived, had to use his flash out of that one. But big critical laning mistakes in the same laning matchup does not go well for On at all there. A quick bounce back for JDG. You know, this one was looking rough after the first blood, and obviously, like, that's not game ending, but to get that kill down in the bot lane too when Loken was the big focal point of any chance to come back in game 1, JDG gonna be happy with that.
Very, very happy here for JDG as SUNING just maybe felt a little bit too, you know, see if we're gonna go for it, and feeling a little bit more confident on not recognizing that he didn't have his flash available to him. As we go topside, Bin almost going down, the ignite taking away, and this is the beauty when you get something like as a Gwen, you have these opportunities with the ignite to be able to go for these solo bolos, if you will.
Yeah, it's great. I thought the boss was cast in LEC, not LPL, you know? He's everywhere, it seems like. No, I love seeing the minimap movements too. Yugao roaming out of the mid lane, doesn't end up committing towards the top side, but the threat is there forces Bin to back away from tower. This is something we're going to continue to look for on that LeBlanc as, well, bot side Scuttlecrab you can't even easily take because bot lane has priority and can roam on up here. SOFM is feeling the hurt for having that losing bot lane matchup early, and Kanavi gets both crabs to start the game off.
Well, if you're a C9 fan, you know how important the double crab is, as Blapper puts a lot of emphasis on that particular objective in the first 4 minutes. And good to see here from the side of JDG, not getting their heads down, not letting themselves get too down in the dumps, but SOFM now recognizing no scuttle crabs to take, so I can get myself up to this top side. This wave will be pushed in. It is a little bit of a slower one here. It's a bit dangerous, though, to try and dive a Gwen, as we can see that now on bot side. Maybe they go for something a little bit more. The hook beautifully danced away from by On, and then it will be
It's a big wave. They're diving it.
They're going for it. They're going to see if they're going to TP out. You can see Zoom coming in now. They're going to use a hook shot to get out Bin as he was tanking up the turret. But now Kanavi is here. It's a native 3v3 scuttle. It's fights on both sides of the map. But they're feeling so good about it. And I've just been told by my production that that first blood was the 5,000th kill for SUNING in the LPL. Very good milestone for them. And we'll see if they can turn it into a 2-0. You know, good omens.
How about that? I love seeing those little milestones. Also love seeing mid laners getting involved in the game. Already seen a couple of roam attempts now just 5 minutes in. This is more to be expected when those TPs come up. Yagao constantly looking to either walk into the enemy jungle with Kanavi, go into side lanes, and On hooks the minion. You know, it's important. Get it over there, then you can proc it for the relic shield. I'm just making this up. It's not actually a real thing.
Hey, man, it's not about getting the kill. It's about sending a message, okay?
Exactly.
He could have hooked him. You have to always be aware of the lollipopping, all right?
Yeah. No, he wanted the minion, you know, because his relic shield. That's the big brain play. You know, one thing I did want to mention actually quickly, it's been a couple minutes now, but the rune choice from Angel's Malzahar, because it is a little bit less common of a pick, but he went big into the sustain option. So he started with Corrupting Potion. He has Biscuits in his runes, also has Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. So this guy, with his passive as well, is pretty immovable in lane. Yagao can't really put down much hurt of anything onto the Malzahar, and once you start stacking up points, you know, into your dot damage there on the Malzahar, like, you just sort of crush through the minion wave, you can drop all your stuff and then back away, and that's something that you can't underestimate. Like, the amount of time you have to spend in lane is so little on that Malzahar, because you just have to put down your Voidlings, pop your E once you get to a certain point, and then you can just start moving. You can be clearing the waves while you're not even on the screen, just like you saw from Angel there, so there's no threat whenever Lu Mao comes around for a gank opportunity.
Well, no gank opportunity, but there is a dragon opportunity here for JDG as Kanavi and Lu Mao push themselves onto that. SOFM is 2 levels behind right now, actually, on the Kanavi. Kanavi level 6 to level 4, so SOFM should be hitting level 5 just there, but you can see just how important that double scuttle can be, putting you behind on the clear. And On, don't know if you want to be here just at the moment, buddy. They will spot him out. There's a blast cone, though, to keep him safe, and now he'll know exactly where the enemy jungle and support are setting up camp.
This is great, though, seeing Kanavi get into the enemy jungle, because he's 0-0-0 in this game, but it's a very different look now because his lanes are, you know, a little bit, you know, they're winning more. You know, you walk in the jungle with Lu Mao. We saw him playing with Yagao earlier, too. Like, Kanavi can attack the enemy jungle as opposed to lanes.
Oh, Yagao is forced to flash, and he has nowhere to go now as the Hextech Ultimatum comes down, and SOFM gets himself a nice, clean kill. Good roam down from Bin to force out the Summoner, and a great execution there.
Man, Bin just showing up in a big way. MVP of Game 1, and this time he's the extra man SUNING need to get that hit on mid lane. Beautiful stuff, and Angel still even has his ultimate too, so it's not even like they lost that much for it. Bin can walk back up in the lane, can clear out this whole wave, and look at your minimap too, because SOFM is on a warpath. You know, he can come in from behind if he wants to, and make that happen.
Spotted out a ward. Good vision coverage here with the wards all in the bushes to make sure there's no real avenue apart from the lane itself where SOFM to make anything happen. But good start here for SUNING, getting
Penguin,
themselves back on the horse.
I've got a question, because right now SOFM's ultimate is grayed out, indicating that he has not skilled up his R yet. Do you think he's misclicked and, you know, upgraded a different ability, or do you think he's doing SOFM things and he's just waiting with that plus button until he needs to use his ultimate? Because I kind of feel like that's one of the big brain things he would do that doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of sweet. We got to fight in the mid.
Oh, if he put it into this Q, then the Q is doing
See,
enough
leveled it
damage
up.
to take that kill. The big brain, the 5-head is in for SUFM. Do not question the teachings of the jungle god as he gets himself around this Rift Herald. Another great pick up there by SUNING, as they knew that JDG were going to look to contest it.
Oh man, he leveled it up but didn't even need to use it there, holding on to that one. You'll love to see it. And again, it's attacking this mid lane. Now the Malzahar is level 6. You can just keep on using that. The Rift Herald does look like JDG want to start it up, even with their support, you know, trying to make this happen. You can see that On is in the area as well, so JDG, are they going to get away with this? It did not go well for them in game 1.
It did not, but SUNING did have been reset. It was a bit of a scuffle between him and Zoom. Zoom was able to take his health bar down fairly decently. That means that the Rift Herald and the Scuttle Crab will be taken by JDG. So that's 2 global objectives now for JDG. A much better early game start for them in this game.
Definitely going well, and you can see just the control they have over the map. Lumao, Yagao, and Kanavi have sort of controlled the pace for when they are going to be attacking. It usually has revolved around that middle lane, because again, the idea is if you can open up this LeBlanc, then you can walk into the enemy jungle, you can attack side lanes, and all this stuff. But we have hit that point of critical mass where it feels like on the Malzahar, hard to push him out of lane, and 2v2 on the top side of the map.
2v2, there is no ignite here for Zoom as he pops it down straight away, and they are going to miss the Q because of the miss, but it does not matter as Bin picks up the kill. Zoom with no flash means that he goes down, but Bin keeps his life. But Yagao trying to go for that roam, he's just not quick enough. He's not able to get out of that lane. It's exactly what you talked about, Ender. The Malzahar being able to constantly put this LeBlanc underneath the turret means he has no real impact in this early stage.
Oh my word. Honestly, for a second there, I saw Gwen doing some Gwen things, and I was not thrilled with it. Blocking out the damage of the Sonic Wave, but you know what? SOFM and the crew get it in the end. You know, SOFM just sees Kanavi on the ward, walking into lane, says, I'm going to pass straight on up here. You can see easy done, and, well, yep, the Q just misses there, because, of course, her field travels with her, because that's reasonable. That is fair. And all those other
fair
things that Riot tells you.
we're not being held at
if it's 50% win rate, it's fair.
I mean, results-based analysis, that's all I'll say. Anyway, as we move forward towards... Now this game is starting to get a little bit more dicey for JDG. I want to see them start to pick up some more... I suppose defensive movements, I suppose is the word I would look for, because right now they're looking for engages, they're looking to see if they can get something, but it's really not working out for them. As I say that, On jumps it onto Lumao. Lumao taking a lot of damage right now, forced to flash away, but there's going to be a Sonic Wave, and the Mega Inferno Bomb right on top of it. SOFM should have the safeguard to get himself out. He does. He is now 3-0 and 200% kill participation, and this is what we expect from this man.
Look, it's just smooth play from SUNING. I'm loving to see the coordination with their individual champions there. SOFM landing the skill shots, following up off of Huanfeng and On, who were just hitting from a mile away. You know, before the series, I said I was a bit of a SUNING believer, and you know, you talked to me like I was crazy. You know, like they've been good in the past, but right now not sitting very high at all in the standings. But after a performance like this in back-to-back games, I think there's so much to be excited about if you are a SUNING fan. Now, onto the Drake. Kanavi does have a smite, but it's a hard one to get.
Well, there is a little minion there being hooked up there, as they see now Lumao taking down. So that's the 4th kill of the game here for SOFM. The smite's been used to try and keep the JDG jungler alive, as Kanavi will be sacrificed to the blood god of the LPL. And now SUNING in complete control. 4-0-4 for SUNING on this SOFM pick, and he is becoming an error in JDG's screen.
SUNING just type in question marks in all chat, spamming that one out, because JDG are forcing a 3 versus 4, and you can see maybe if Kanavi is able to get one reset, maybe that can turn the fight, maybe that can start looking better for them, but they can't get that critical kill. They cannot get it to work. Gwen's in the top lane, you know, Loken's down bot side, doesn't have the push, because again, he's playing against Ziggs. Ziggs is the first to move over here, so they're just waiting. When will the reset come in? When can we get some support from our team? It is not going to happen. JDG are just bashing their heads into a brick wall because SUNING will not die.
Suning will not die, and again, it's exactly what we talked about with this fantastic Malzahar pick, is that as soon as anyone walks forward, anyone walks trying to be aggressive, you're just getting caught. You don't have QSSs right now, and it's becoming a very, very taxable, offense right now, aside from JDG. It's something you have to pay, otherwise you're just not going to be able to come out of this game with a W.
And even if you do pay that tax, SOFM is 4-0-4, finished his gold drinker already. Like, you're already behind considerably in gold, 3,000 gold. If you're investing 1,300 on multiple players to get a QSS, like, that is not going to make you very happy coming into the fights. You'll still just deal less damage. So yeah, you can get away from the CC, but you're still probably going to end up falling. Suning have done such a great job of finding their mark, of locking down Yagao in lane. It felt like last game it was all about bullying Zoom, making his KDA look really sad. This game, it's Yagao has been unable to accomplish anything on this LeBlanc, and I don't want to jump out and say like Malzahar is like the ultimate counter. Oh my god, like we need to see a million of this. But I do hope this game makes some heads turn, makes people think, hey, this Malzahar pick can definitely work in the right context.
This is again another reason why I love the LPL. The innovation, the courage, if you will, to be able to say, look, we can go for something slightly different. We can throw something into the works that will make you think twice about blind picking some of these champions. And when things, specifically in mid lane, are not blind pickable, that makes me a very happy chappy, because it just means you have so much more innovation in draft and so many more things to think about as we get into the 5D chess levels of pick and ban.
Oh man, you know what? Honestly, I feel like if SOFM play chess, I want to know if anyone here plays chess. Cause I feel like SOFM, he might be a grandmaster or something. He's the guy that thinks he would memorize all his openings. He get everything done. I've been on a bit of a chess kick lately, so having some fun with that one. 1,300. So I'm not terrible, but I'm pretty bad. Bin, not bad, but he's the 1v2. That might not be enough.
No, it might not be, and there's going to be the needlework with the Hexock Ultimatum use and the Flash. Hooksock's still there, and no way of following up on it, but while they're making a move on top, there's an equal and opposite reaction on bot lane, so it's a trade of 1-for-1, as we can see Kanabi did end up getting the kill.
Oh, it's not just that, though. SOFM doing it with a little bit of style. Huanfeng was trying to take the kill, but no. SOFM is going to kick him away, deal damage, land a Sonic Wave. Beautiful stuff here, and Huanfeng should end up getting this tower as well.
And again, this is just great from Suning. They're just running JDG ragged. Even when JDG feel like they have an opportunity to take something, we can see in this bot lane, there's roaming death squad of this Nautilus and Lee Sin. It just becomes so difficult. Nice sidestep from SOFM, recognizing that as long as he doesn't get hooked, he's going to be doing the damage.
Yeah, just a pathway of darkness into the enemy jungle. Lumao had actually put down some wards in the river, but none that watched the pathway that Suning took to get in there. So he was very surprised, very shocked to see a couple of players in the area. With the Herald spawning, though, we are, of course, going to see the TP into the mid lane here from Huanfeng. This is something that we saw Suning do in Game 1 as well. Timing TPs immediately at the same time that Herald is coming into contention. Well, they've got an even bigger lead in this game. So very easy to secure that one. You can already see pings onto that top lane tower. They may be even able to take that without using the Herald. Now that turret plates have gone down, it is very easy to blast on through those and then use your Herald to make sure you can get a second inner tower, which of course gives you a whole lot more gold after the most recent patch.
Just looking at items, you have double Liandry's, almost identical items pretty much for Angel and Huanfeng on the Ziggs and Malzahar combination. On the other side, actually Everfrost for Yagao, we're seeing this a lot more from players in the LPL. They're using it as more of a utility setup to try and catch out a prime target. And speaking of catching out a prime target, it's Zoom who gets hit by the Sonic Wave, and they will get himself the refresh. And SOFM! Take a bow, my son. You are doing so much as Logan trying his very best. Has got the Moonlight Vigil, but nowhere to go. He has no way of getting out alive, and Suning are tearing JDG apart. They're going to continue pushing in on top of Lume, who's forced to flash away. Now Kanabi in a little bit of trouble as he gets Dredgeline back into the fight. He tries to go in with the Heartbreaker. Will not get the reset, though, onto the Nautilus, and that's going to be pretty much all she wrote for for JDG in the top lane. They're still going.
I mean, they just opened up an inhibitor at 17 minutes. This is unreal. Suning are just destroying this game, destroying this series. JDG coming in as the expected victors, but Suning are making it look oh so easy. And it all starts off with a fight in the top lane. Jungler solo killing top laner, but more than that, it's Lee Sin solo killing Gwen. Lee Sin is like 10 years older then Gwen, this is not how it's supposed to be. It's like if Quickshot was somehow able to beat me in a 1v1 in League. You just do not expect it to happen, and yet SOFM just destroys that poor Gwen.
Oh my god, SOFM took no prisoners. We can see in this bot side, it's just, they just don't respect the full engage and the basically global ultimate that can come out from the Ziggs.
Unreal, we're back into another fight. Sure, why not?
We're back in. Welcome to the LPL Ender, where the action never stops and the team fights make no sense as we go back into the real game and everyone's just going for SOFM. Knows that he is just so much more powerful, but can you 1v4? That's the next question. Find out next time on JDG versus Suning as we come back to some more normality as the dragon has spawned.
Look, I don't know. I feel like there's not going to be a season 2 of this one. Like, Suning, it was a little bit too easy for the heroes in this. The villain's not putting up too much of a fight. This time, Zoom is trying to dive in. I don't know about that one. Oh my word!
Well, he's gonna get Han Fong, and that's Gwen doing Gwen things. We'll almost take another one there, and there's Loken maybe pushing a little bit too far forward. He's going for it. He's trying to find it. Oh god, yes, he will get it. But while that's been happening, SOFM on the other side of this, and you can see with the chakras coming in, Angel has no mana, but it does not matter as he's able to get it all going on top of him. Yagao actually takes a 1v1 against the Camille, and Ender, what the hell is going on?
I have no idea, but I'm loving every second of it. Fights on multiple fronts. I mean, JDG do a good job of things, but SOFM is now legendary, by the way. 8 kills, does miss the Sonic Wave, but I feel like maybe he knew I was casting or something. Maybe he knew I was a big fan, but this guy is absolutely popping off. Completely unchained, right? You know, he's diving and he's doing solo things, solo killing Gwen. That last fight, he's just running through the enemy jungle like, yeah, come at me, bro. What are you going to do about it? He's just insane.
He is just insane. And a quick look at the score now. It's 18-6, a 6,000 gold lead to Suning. They're going to be able to pick up that dragon as well. But let's see what happened here. Bin feeling like he had the potential to take out Yagao, but Yagao with the Everfrost is just CC locking him and there's nowhere for Bin to go.
Bin's like, wait, let me auto attack you, please. Okay, well, that was
but
fun.
melee boy. I am melee, please. This isn't fair, Riot.
Imagine getting 1v1 by a 0-4 champion. That rough, man.
That feels a bit rough, but might also feel another bit rough as Zoom in this top side has been trying to keep him occupied as Kanavi now comes down. Angel is there, will have the suppress available to him and will probably use it against the Kanavi. Yep, there it is, but Zoom is still alive and now Bin in a lot of trouble. We're gonna see now SOFM trying to get on top of Yagao. There's the bouncing bomb to finish off the kill, and it's still a 1-5-4 side of Suning. They're just too far ahead. They have too much money. They have too many ways of getting on top of you, and they're gonna put JDG back to the Shadow Realm.
Unbelievable. Remember when that inhibitor tower died at 17 minutes with Rift Shield? Yeah, there's no defense for you, JDG. Where are you running? There's no towers to hide behind. You got to go all the way back into the base. Beautiful stuff from Suning. I am just loving every second of it. We passed the 20-minute mark, so, you know, we can do Baron whenever we want. Lee Sin is a champion where if you have a lead, you take no damage against that objective. He's already got 2 items at 21 minutes. He's got the W and, of course, the lifesteal on that passive. Like, he's almost just soloing the thing. He does no damage to it, to be fair, but he is not going to take anything in return.
Give him enough time and he will be able to take it. That is a fact. He will not die to this objective, but Scryer's orb did go down, so they do know that this is being taken as JDG now walk up. Zoom taking a bit of a chunk, and this is the easy mode right now for the side of Suning as you missed the Moonlight Vigil. Angel has ult and they're going to jump straight on top of him, and that's exactly what we talked about. They're going to be able to jump in, but you can't jump back out now. SOFM trying to preserve his KDA. He will finally fall. It is the Thresh that picks up that one, but you can see the damage is here. They're trying to keep Zoom, they're trying to keep Logan, they're trying to keep Kanavi, and everyone's just keep going back on top of this. Kanavi coming back forward with this Viego reset. He gets 2 as he keeps pushing forward. Nice satchel charge, though, as Wanfong cannot escape destiny, and that's going to be another reset there as Kanavi goes down anyway. Zigs on zigs, just violence. It's just, what is going on? I don't know what's. I don't know where I was going with that last bit.
I clicked on the wrong link at some point. I don't know what I'm watching here. Oh my word! Somehow though, JDG put up a very strong fight in Suning, sitting on a whole lot of gold. They hadn't gone to base. They were trying to do the Baron, of course. Also 4v5 right at the start. It did look good for a little while. You know, did put down the damage, but Angel gets chunked out very quickly. SOFM also has to run away, ends up getting finished off himself. And then here, I don't know. I feel like if the rest of the team had decided let's fight with Bin, we go for it. But Bin put on a clinic in the 1v3, gets the first kill, and then dodges away from the hook, uses that hook shot beautifully, is almost able to get Loom out there. But once he drops, Kanavi gets access to the hook shot, and it becomes a little bit easier for him to close the distance and finish off Huanfeng for an even 4-for-4 trade overall, which is not what you'd expect down 8k gold.
No, I actually think Kanavi survives if he doesn't take that reset. I actually believe he just walks away from the turret and doesn't die. But if buts and maybes are definitely the call of the LPL. There's a lot of different question marks as we come into it. And now 6,000 gold in favor of SUNING. They can go back towards this Baron. This time, though, they've got a little bit more control, but that one ward has yet to spot it out. So now they know on the side of JDG that it's going down. It's not exactly a quick one, though, and there's only 3 people on it.
Yeah, a lot of good zoning from the Ziggs, too. Oh, beautiful satchel charge.
Oh, it's beautiful satchel charge, but a great Everfrost actually stops about 3 or 4 members, but the Ignite ticking, Yagao goes down, so he will have no further part in this fight. Now, we can reset and go for it. Huanfeng in a lot of trouble, but he's got his teammates to back him up. The Moonlight Vigil only lands onto On. Flash forward from Loken as SOFM takes down the Gwen. It's 2 kills here for Loken. Great hook onto SOFM. Can Loken do it? He's got more auto attacks in him, but not enough sustain. And they're going to be able to take him down. Triple kill for SOFM, and they're back onto the Baron.
Oh man, it was almost Loken's moment there. Time to shine. Red, white, let's fight. And Loken almost gets the job done, but the rest of the team was not able to do enough for him to set things up. SUNING coming in with those big old walls, doing so much. I mean, I feel like I'm just reciting KDAs at this point, but 12, 1, and 10 is just disturbing to see in professional play. SOFM putting on a clinic, and watch this. Yagao dives in, boop, into the hook, into the nether grasp. I mean, you're just not going anywhere. It just feels terrible to be Yagao in this game.
It really does. This is not a LeBlanc game that you're having fun in. And the fight almost goes back into JDG's favor, because look at Loken. He's just free hitting. Nobody touches him. And if it wasn't for a couple of clutch stopwatches or Zanyas, this fight looks very, very different.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard with the survivability, even the stopwatch there from SOFM. Frankly, if Loken can keep hitting SOFM there, maybe it's a little bit different. Good hook against the wall, but there's no follow-up. Still, though, with Baron minions in the mid lane, like, SUNING are just on a warpath here. They can continue to push up. They've got super minions topside. Camille's bringing that wave around in the bottom lane as well. It is all go here for SUNING.
And I love this pickup from Angel. Goes with the Medjai Soul Stealer, just knowing that he is not going to die. He's already got 2 tanky items, the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and you can see the damage here. Loken is getting there, but again, similar to game 1, is it too little too late for the side of JDG as they look to try and defend against this Baron push?
I mean, Lee Sin did almost 5,000 damage in a team fight. That is not reasonable. That is not okay, and JDG have to force fight in mid because they're just losing their base.
They are, and as SOFM just backs away, misses out the chains, the Everfrost doesn't land, they're going to take their second inhibitor, so that's bot and top, the 2 inhibitors that you do want to take as they're so diametrically opposed to each other. Gives you a lot of pressure now as you're SUNING, as we can see now. Bin not going to be caught out just yet as he keeps down the pressure, keeps up the Baron buff, and SUNING can keep pushing. They've got a Ziggs. Ziggs with Baron buff is disgusting.
Yeah, Bin on the flank, always threatening. You see the box goes down, but yeah, they got to go in.
They gotta go in, and Loken is dead. No flash, no lantern, nowhere to go. Bin is being jumped on. He's gonna use his Hex Ultimatum to try and just keep everybody around and against the turrets. They're gonna be so much more damage here for SUNING. They don't even care about these fights right now. SOFM being chased down. He will fall, only down to his GA. So, the side of JDG, yes, they lose Loken, but they gain 2 kills. Even the GA going down is enough, as here come the scissors. Chop, chop, chop! On top of SOFM. Another big shutdown over to JDG. I believe he had 1,000 gold shutdowns in a row for the side of JDG, and they can go back SUNING. They got themselves all inhibitors, or at least all inhibitor turrets, and they can go and pick up this dragon, reset, and come back again. Yeah,
it does truly feel like we've got one more fight left in this one before SUNING take the game. We have truly entered the end game for this squad. I mean, at this point, we're not even really playing for a soul. They just want to finish this one off very quickly. 3 items on pretty much any player. Bin is late to the party somehow, you know, but the rest of the team is definitely making it work. Now, Loken, off a couple of good fights, does have an infinity edge now, but your backs are so far against the wall. One mistake from JDG, and you are losing just about anything. This fight was really weird because, I mean, you land a beautiful hook there and delete Loken from the fight. And yet, you know, JDG able to chase down Bin on the bottom side of the map. SOFM tries to come in and help him out too. So it was the splitting up of SUNING that actually ended up punishing them a whole lot. SOFM wasn't able to get the damage down that he needed to onto Kanavi. A whole lot of sustain went through on that one. So maybe if SUNING don't commit to the bot side, the game's just over. But you know what? That would be the LPL. We want a little bit more fun. We need more blood. We need more violence on the Rift. And that's what we're going to get in our next team fight.
45 kills in 28 minutes. That's where this game is right now. That is an absurd amount of kills on either side. 31 here for SUNING, and as they're pushing in towards this top side, and Hextech Ultimatum goes down onto Zoom. I don't know if that's the target you really want, though, Bin. They get the needle work, and important to notice, though, Loken still does not have his flash. Still waiting for that cooldown, but he does have a stopwatch. Now, do they look to try and just go for this one? There's the Mega Inferno Bomb down.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to take down Lu Mao. Takes him down. The kick is fantastic. They get the Moonlight Vigil off onto SOFM, but he goes down without using his locket. And now with the ultimate from the Malzahar, you cannot go in on top of that. But look at this damage coming out from the side of SOFM. Sorry, not from SOFM, from Yagao. He gets taken out by Angel. That's the game. That's the series. SUNING go to 6-5. JDG left wondering what happened.
What a convincing performance by SUNING here this evening. I mean, just phenomenal across the board. Game 1 was a close game, but it was a controlled game. One where JDG never felt like they had a chance. Well, if that was controlled, this game was an absolute destruction. I mean, just crushing them from the level 1 play, spotting out, it was Yagao on that ward, right? And then they just never let the man breathe, constantly using that Malzahar pick to perfection to find kills on that LeBlanc and shut down any playmaking opportunity from JDG. SUNING looked legit here in tonight's series.
Honestly, that's the best way you can put it. They looked legit. They looked like a playoff contender, and we had a couple of question marks about this squad purely because of, you know, the hot and cold. They were in, they were out, they were up, they were down. They didn't really find any big consistency, but the one thing they have done this split is find big wins against big teams. This is a massive scalp now and puts them on to 6-5. And with only 5 games left in the split, you need every single win you can muster.
And honestly, I'm left kind of perplexed by JDG's play. Rather, you know, game 1 was really a bunch of players just not on the same page. Questionable draft, sure, did make the game a little bit hard to execute on once they fell behind, but it didn't feel like they had much of a backup strategy at all. And then in this one, they were just getting run across the map, you know? Like, Kanavi is usually the player that shows up and just crushes these early games for JDG, but SOFM was clearly the stronger jungler on the day, and made this game look so easy for SUNING from start to finish.
It really did. I think SUNING, for lack of a better term, clapped JDG. It didn't even look close. It never looked out of doubt, and it was such a good showing from SUNING coming into the later stage of the season, and this is great for them just in general because it does show that this team is developing. It is healing from the hole in their heart when Sword Art left in Spring Split to go off to the NALCS, and it shows good things for the world finalists from 2020.
Oh, absolutely. No, I feel like there's going to be some renewed faith in SUNING after their performance here today. I mean, it's funny because, you know, we talked a lot about Bin in the first game. We talked about SOFM and Angel here in this game. Hwanfeng on the Ziggs, I feel like, is such a phenomenal pick. It's one that has definitely been gaining popularity, gaining a lot of steam here in the LPL and across the rest of the world, but showing why it can be so effective, right? When the rest of your team is diving on in, well, all this zone control makes it really hard for the enemy team to do the same when a lot of these compositions about super high agency individual champions, super high mobility champions that want to dive into your face. Well, Yagao tried to do that. One satchel charge from Hwanfeng just completely shut down his entire day. The rest of SUNING played super well off of those abilities and definitely showed us why that pick can be so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just an added thing to that is that we obviously talk about the satchel charge, but the empowered auto attack you get from his passive to take down turrets later on in the game, you can't base race, you can't go for trade because you just lose. You lose those fights every single time. And we're going to talk about our MVP. It wasn't going to be anybody else given how this game went. SOFM was the MVP for Game 2. Guy was on a mission. He was a man demented, and that one goal was just to win.
Look, I'm gonna pretend like he did it for me. You know, he knew I was gonna be watching this game. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give Ender a sweet Lee Sin performance and start off with the first blood, maybe making things a little bit easy, but then working with Bin to roam towards that middle lane. That's death number 2 for Yagao. It would not be the last for Yagao. A whole lot happened because death number 3 came shortly thereafter. Again, it's SOFM working so well with his solo laners early on to cash in on these kills, and a lot of junglers after you get 3 kills, you know, they keep farming, you know, doing their thing, continue to slowly build their advantage. SOFM said, no, I'm also just going to carry within the team fight to pick up all the kills there too. Like, he was just getting seemingly every single last hit for a lot of this game. 4-0-4 at 15 minutes. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
It really was. The fact that we mentioned it in Gas during that last clip, 1v1ing the Gwen at that stage of the game should never be a thing, but he was just so monstrous, so unbelievably fed that it is what it is. Lee Sin doing Lee Sin things, and why we see such a massive priority on this pick from so many teams in so many different lanes, because if he does get that advantage, what are you to do?
Lose. it's not
you
easy.
Know what?
You know?
I wasn't expecting that response, but I should have, and that's on me. So I'll accept
honestly,
that.
like, there are definitely a lot of really strong Lee Sin performance in history, but that one like took me back to like Peanut on SKT at MSI 2017 against Gigabyte Marines, where he got like 17 kills on the Lee Sin. Like, it was one of those complete game takeover performances that you're not gonna forget for a long time. That one was disturbing.
It becomes a performance that makes you synonymous with that champion. That's how good of a setup it was, and we're gonna see now exactly what the side of SUNING thought as they are standing by with Wendy for a winner's interview.
Hello everyone, welcome to the interview, and I'm standing by with Andrew from SUNING. So congratulations on this very clean 2-0 victory. And for today's game 1, we feels like the opponents JDG, they tended to use their Nocturne's ultimate and also the Thresh hook to seek so many engaging opportunities in the mid game, but all the team fights ended up with you guys were able to get more leads. So tell us more about how did you guys manage to react to their engaging skills. 那首先恭喜你们，今天很漂亮，2-0拿下了比赛的胜利。然后说到第一局，其实感觉京东他们整体会运用他们，比如说梦魇的一个大招啊，然后包括说锤石的钩子在中期一直在找机会，想要进行一些开团，但是每一波团战最后都以你们来拿到更多的东西而告终。所以说，可能你们在团战中面对他们有很多的开团的手段是怎么样去处理的呢？
这个主要是考虑到他们大部分都是那种拉扯，然后手比我们长的阵容，然后我们就想办法直接开起来吧。然后我们的机会有点难，但是我们可能沟通比较好，然后我们大家机会也找比较好，就直接开起来我们就赢了。
So I think the opponent's team, based on their draft, they need to do some kitings, and also because they have the long-range champions. So maybe after doing some kitings, they can seek some good opportunities for the team fight. But from us, because based on our compositions, we try to make some hard engagement and just run straight to the opponents. And also, I think maybe because we have a better communications inside the team for game 1, so that's the reason for us we're able to have a very clean win from game 1. And also in terms of the game 2, the most surprise is definitely that Malzahar pick. So tell us more about the reason behind this pick, because we have noticed you practice champion a few times currently in the solo ranks. So maybe have you practiced it before? Like, is this the secret weapon for today's game? 那说到第二局，其实最令人惊喜的无疑就是中单马尔扎哈的这样的一个选项。所以说，在第二局会锁下他的一个原因是什么呢？因为感觉你最近好像排位偶尔会练到一下这个英雄，所以说是有为今天的比赛特别的准备或者练习吗？
选上这个英雄原因，主要之前在韩服排位有看到之前那个 Fnatic 中单那个 Nemesis 有在排位中用过，然后我也试了一下，就感觉打这种近战英雄或者打这种刺客型英雄还蛮合适的。然后这把正好对面前3楼都选的这种英雄，所以我这场比赛就选了。
So the reason for me to pick that Malzahar pick is because previously I have seen Nemesis in his solo ranks. He played these champions before, so I think it can be a very good counter pick to face those assassins or short-range champions. So that's the reason for us to pick it into this game too, because in the first 3 picks, JD Gaming's, they have the champions like Viego, Gwen, and LeBlanc. Those champions can be countered by the Malzahar. So that's the reason for us. And definitely your Malzahar got a super good performance, and And also, I want to talk a bit more about another champion, LeBlanc, because we feel this champion has become a hotter pick currently, but the win rate for this champion is not that high, especially in the current meta. So could we know the reason for it? 那下一个问题也是说，就是感觉最近好像勒夫兰这个英雄在赛场上有变得越来越火热，但是呢，他的胜率现在其实并不高，之前还有7连败，所以说你觉得可能问题出在哪里呢？原因是什么？
就我觉得勒夫兰这个英雄，他对个人还有团队要求都非常非常高，然后我觉得能玩的特别好的队伍可能非常少吧，所以我觉得这是他胜率不高的原因。
So I think for in picking LeBlanc, it's really got a very high request by the whole teams, and also it really depends on the different players. So I think maybe only a few teams can really play LeBlanc so well in the current meta. So that's a reason for although she was a very good, very hot pick currently, but the win rate was super low. And my last question is, after today's best of 3, the SUNING, you have created your own history of 5,000 kills in LPL. So do you have any words you want to say to all the fans that supporting you through this whole journey? 那其实，在今天的 BO3打完之后嘛，我们苏宁也达到了队伍5000杀的一个成就。所以说，我们的安众有没有什么想要对一直以来陪伴着苏宁、陪伴着你们的粉丝说的呢？
就谢谢大家一直支持我们，然后这也会感谢以前在苏宁奋战的其他队友吧。
So I really appreciate all the thanks from all of you through this whole journey, and I also want to give my thanks to all the players and former players that played in SUNING and contribute a lot to these records. And definitely congratulations on today's win, and we are looking forward for even better SUNING in the future. 那再次恭喜你们，也希望你们之后能有更好的一个成绩。And back to you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you so